I want you to get together.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Remember series. This one comes off the back of a random occurrence that happened to me. I was trying to recover from one of my old hard drives some data which I had backed up before my laptop died. I had this old hard drive with some work on there from my YouTube channel from years ago. And I found on it this compilation of old videos from the 2012, 2011, 2013 era of conspiracy. And I saw a thumbnail of Pastor Paul Begley. I don't know if he's even still around or if he's on YouTube, but back in the day, during this time, he was a big player, you know. He made a lot of videos daily reporting on the news and giving it a Christian conspiracy theorist spin onto everything that he said, basically. And the title of this video I had saved there was about Comet ISON, and I just had a sudden nostalgic memory come to mind about this Comet ISON, and I remembered it. I remembered this time. It was just after the 2012 end of the world scare. Okay, it had come and gone and the world hadn't ended. But there were still these people around who were waiting for the thing to happen. They were adamant that this date and this time, in December in 2012 was when the end of the world, something catastrophic was going to happen. So news had come of the discovery of this comet, which was going to go extremely close to Mars and was going to leave a trail which Earth would pass through, as it did its perihelion, is called, around the sun. People were also saying it was going to cause massive sun flares, which would basically cause an extinction level event to Earth. And there was many theories about what this Comet ISON truly was. Some people were saying it was Nibiru coming back into our solar system, bringing with them the Anunnaki, who are our alien progenitors who created mankind as a slave race to mine Earth for minerals and gold. And during this cycle of it coming back into our system, this is what ISON truly was. It was Nibiru. Other people were saying it's just simply a doomsday omen, and it was basically going to wipe us all out. This is what the Mayan calendar, the 2012, was all about. It was this thing. And now the 2012 has passed, this thing has come into our sky. And there was news reports basically saying, when this thing does come close to Earth, it's going to be as bright as the moon in the sky. It's going to be an amazing spectacle that we've never witnessed before. And off the back of the media making this wild speculation that it was going to be so bright, it encouraged, obviously, the online conspiracy theorist world, which I am a part of, to go crazy and wild over speculating that this is the end. This thing is major. It's going to take us all out. And I think just prior to this, in 2011, I think there was a Comet ISON who had similar doomsday speculations around it about this comet coming close to Earth, And it's this idea that it's going to leave this trail that we're going to pass through, which will cause mini meteors and strikes and all sorts of disruptions to our magnetic field, let's say. And that it will come so close to Mars that it may even hit it, and it would knock Mars off its trajectory. Then Mars would then clash with Earth, and there was so much ramping up to this event of fear, and just as we just come out of the ramping up of fear and the end of the world doomsday stuff for 2012, and it turns out in the end, this Comet ISON, nothing came of it. According to scientists who observed it, as it got close to the sun, it basically fizzled out and dissipated and disappeared. And became nothing. It just vanished, and it wasn't the grand spectacle everyone said it was going to be. But I remember it. I remember the hype. I remember the coming together of all the conspiracy theorists, truthers, to theorize that this was going to be it, the big thing that's going to bring it all, and bring the end to us finally. And I suppose I want to make other videos about this to the Remember series, but this does incorporate a lot of nostalgic thoughts and feelings of that time. I suppose I have videos to make, like Remember Nibiru, on Planet X, Remember Wormwood, which would come under that category as well. Do you remember the constant doomsday Do you remember doomsday preppers? And these things probably still exist now, these concepts, but during this period of time from 2008 to 2015, just before everything calmed down and all conspiracy became about political stuff, it was all about doomsday. It was all about the end of the world. It was all about prepping for the big disaster that's going to change everything and mix everything up and utterly change our landscape and send mankind into revelations, let's say, or some kind of new world of some kind, which would rise from the ashes of the destruction of this old one. These are all the thought processes. These are all the things people were saying and thinking about during this time period, this 5 to 6 to 7 year time period. And Comet ISON was one of these things that also revved it up. So I suppose I'll need to make a remember series of that. Do you remember all the doomsday stuff? And it all comes down to this at the end of the day. No man knows the day or the hour. And I think a lot of people made a lot of money selling these books that would say they're certain they know and have the day. They have the dates. It's all going to go down on this day. We know. We've mapped it all out, done all the maths and all the geometry and all the numerology, and we know exactly when it's going to be. Mysticism at its finest, really. And people made a lot of money off people's fears during this time. And here we are, almost 2024, but it's been 10 years since Comet ISON at least. And the world hasn't ended yet. And there may still be people out there, though I don't follow it or look for it anymore, that are saying they know the time and day when it's going to happen. And I'm sure there's probably still a subculture of conspiracy thinkers out there who are following every single astrological event that NASA or the mainstream media points to and are calling it the end, the thing that's going to finally take us out. But let's consider this from a new perspective, from a true conspiratorial perspective. Now, I'm not here to say just exactly what the cosmological nature of reality truly is, but I do believe it's not what we've been told. I think the nature of reality and existence is far trippier and psychedelic and weird and strange than space and planets and stars and asteroids and infinite vastness of nothingness spattered with sparse moments of light and planets. And I don't think it's that. I really don't think it is that. I don't know what it is, but it's not what we've been told, and it's not what NASA keeps up the illusion of it to be. So when this fear comes around about sun flares, coronas, comets, asteroids, debris fields, magnetic events, all this sort of stuff from space comes up, and I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. It's likely, if we want to take a biblical cosmological worldview, that the things we see in the sky as signs, like comets and asteroids, are not only signs sent by God to symbolize certain events and moments in the plan, but it could also possibly be the movement of rebellious angels, who are the stars in heaven, and I mean the lower heaven, the heaven here on earth, the sky we call it, and within there is the realm of these fallen angelic beings who can't dwell anymore in the true upper heaven, what God is. They're cast down here on earth with us, but they still have the realm of the angelic hosts in heaven. And they dwell with those who didn't rebel, who also have their place here on earth. And they are told to stay in their place, to be there for signs and seasons, to basically be there for mankind to witness and use to navigate and to grow crops and live on the earth. The stars have their place, but those who moved and rebelled from their first estate became what are known as the wandering stars. And these are what we call planets today, but I do think there are plenty of wandering stars up there. We've talked about the orbs of light before in a previous video. These things, that orbs of light up there that seem to swim back and forth in a zigzag pattern, freely like a fish in water. But they're these orbs of light in the sky. We see things whipping back and forth and stopping, and we see multiple things moving together in the sky, these orbs of light, which at a first glance look just like a star. They aren't any different from a star, they just happen to be moving in a slow, lazy, swimming manner, like it's conscious of its movements, So when we see these events like comets, and this funny description of this comet fizzling out as it got close to the sun, symbolically speaking, that's interesting if you consider it from the angle of it being angels. Could we have been witnessing the death of a rebellious angel? was it the punishment for one of the Watchers who perhaps, you know, mated with human women? Were we witnessing its punishment, its demise? And the mainstream media and the secret societies that run the world who control this and follow these things, was it basically for us to mourn, or for them, shall we say, not us, but for them to mourn the loss of one of their gods? Maybe. You know, this is pure speculation. I have no evidence for what I'm saying here whatsoever. I am just applying a new perspective of possibility to these events from a biblical conspiratorial perspective. Okay, but if we are to reinterpret what these things are, because we do see the comets in the sky, this is the thing, they are there. Okay, we can see them with our own eyes. But if we consider them to be maybe angels of the rebellious type who are destined to be destroyed, basically, could we be seeing the destruction of them as these comets come close to the sun each time? You know, are we seeing a physical manifestation of something spiritual happening? To us, it looks like a comet fizzling out in the sun, but are we actually seeing an angel meeting its punishment in the spiritual realm and being destroyed and put out, its light being put out, let's say? And we just physically see a comet fizzling out next to the sun, but spiritually is something more epic and bizarre happening in that realm, you know. You know, and I've talked again in my previous live show about how the spiritual manifests visually to us in the physical realm, and I think it manifests in strange symbolic events like these major celestial events we see happening, like comets coming by. You know, I think from our perspective we see flashing light, but from the spiritual realm's perspective, it's a battle. It's an epic war between angels occurring. It's grand judgment happening in a court, a godly court that is just beyond our comprehension. You know, I don't know. Again, I'm just speculating here. I think it's fun to think about, but I do remember Comet ISON as a big deal when it was a thing, and everyone was talking about it. I don't listen to fearmongers and doomsday preppers, sayers anymore, and people who tell you they know the date and time, anything, some disaster is going to happen, or whenever it's the end of the world. I don't think any of us really fall for that anymore since 2012. I certainly don't. Though I bet there are still people out there doing it. But I'll leave that with you guys. Let me know if you remember that, if Comet ISON has brought up any nostalgic memories for you. I was going to do a live show tonight with a podcaster who wanted me on his show, but I'm going to do that tomorrow instead. So I'm bringing you this quick, random short video instead, guys, for today. If you like what I do, please consider supporting me on Patreon. My most recent live show yesterday got instantly demonetized, within 5 minutes of it being broadcast and finished. And just in the same week, one of my last clown videos got demonetized as well. So either somebody's out there purposefully accusing me of things that aren't true to get me demonetized, or YouTube has finally clocked onto my channel and they're trying to do anything they can to limit my progress. So the best way to support me now, guys, is please consider becoming a monthly patron. I would greatly appreciate it. I have 29 currently, who I am so thankful for, and I do try to make it worth your while. I give an extra video every Friday, and I post contents of my book in progress, and other things as well, like working on the book cover, things I've been doing behind the scenes, all sorts of extra stuff on there for you guys, so please consider that as well. So I'll leave that there. Thanks for listening, and as always, God bless.
I want you to get together.